Hi, 8th graders, it's Miss Dodd. This morning we are going to be writing our second DBQ of the year in social studies. Remember, DBQ stands for a document-based question, and we will be looking at 4 documents and trying to answer a prompt using our documents as evidence. So, today, the directions are the same as last time. Write a well-organized, clear, multi-paragraph response using information from documents 1 through 4 and your knowledge of social studies. And the way that we're going to do this is have an introduction, 1 paragraph discussing 2 documents, another paragraph discussing the other 2 documents, and then a conclusion. So it's going to be a 4-paragraph essay. Our prompt is to discuss how cultural diffusion can produce both positive and negative effects. We will support our ideas with reasons, facts, and details using evidence from each of the documents. So you have to have evidence from each to get full points for the DBQ. And include information and examples from your own knowledge of social studies. So everything we've been learning this week about cultural diffusion. Take a moment to review the documents with me. The first thing that we will do is annotate the documents off to the side here. So I want you to write whether you think that this document, this image here of a Mardi Gras Indian, is something positive or negative as a result of cultural diffusion. Okay. Document 2. Thomas Hutchins, in his August 1762 journal entry among the natives at Fort Miami, reports the 20th. The above Indians met, and the Weatanan chief spoke in behalf of his and the Kickapoo nations as follows. Brother, we are very thankful to Sir William Johnson for sending you to inquire into the state of the Indians. We assure you we are rendered very miserable at present on account of a severe sickness that has seized almost all our people, many of which have died lately, and many more likely to die. Take a moment to annotate whether you think this is something positive or negative that is happening to the Indians. All right, document 3. We've seen this once before, the Columbian Exchange. And what parts of this Columbian Exchange seem to be positive effects of cultural diffusion, and what parts seem to be negative? Go ahead and circle the negative. Okay? And our last document. It is called Language and Culture of New Orleans, Embodied in One Food, Gumbo. It's interesting how the words that describe New Orleans' 2 best cultural contributions to America, music and food, express multiple layers of meaning in this city. Think jazz, think gumbo. And whenever new people come to New Orleans, the words and the music and the food evolve. When you listen to trumpeter Kermit Ruffins performing at the Bullet Sports Bar in the city's 7th Ward, it's easy to forget that all this comes out of a few hundred years of history. You know, it's like there's no place quite like this place, so this must be the place. There is no place in the United States quite like this place, Southern Louisiana, said New Orleans food historian Jessica B. Harris. This is a place that has been French, then Spanish, then French, then American. That's a lot of stuff going on. Not to mention the Native Americans who mixed with African slaves and set down the local Creole flavor. Not to mention the entire Caribbean, which New Orleans was the center of long before Miami assumed the mantle in the 20th century. It is that place where things mix. People often have referred to the culture of New Orleans as a gumbo, Harris said. Take a moment and annotate this text for the places where you see cultural diffusion happening. And then beside those annotations here, just write a plus sign or a negative sign as to whether you think it's something positive or negative. Okay. So now that we've read all of our documents, we will go flip to the next page of your packet, and we're going to quickly fill out the graphic organizer, and then you are going to type the rest of the class. So our introduction. First, you should write a definition of cultural diffusion. Cultural diffusion is, how would you define that based on what we've said over the past couple days? Cultural diffusion is when a culture does what? Now we are going to restate the prompt. So if we scroll back up here, our prompt is how cultural diffusion can produce both positive and negative effects. So cultural diffusion can produce both positive and negative effects. And then you are going to summarize what you will do. In this essay, I will show how cultural diffusion produces both these positive and these negative effects. Okay, paragraph 1. So I would say for this one, since you need to talk about both the positive and the negative effects, first focus on the positive effects. So you're going to restate the question. Cultural diffusion can produce positive effects, such as, and then answer the question. What are the positive effects of cultural diffusion that you are examining? Take a minute and go back and look through the document where you annotated the text for positive effects and decide what those are. And then write them here for your answer. Just a couple brief bullets or notes would be fine. Now you need to write down the document numbers of where you saw those positive effects of cultural diffusion, and then explain it a little bit so that when you go back into the essay, you're showing that you really know what those effects are and you're analyzing them for their positive contribution. All right, paragraph 2. Cultural diffusion can also produce negative effects, such as, take a moment now and look through your documents where you annotated the text for negative effects of cultural diffusion and answer it here under the A part of the second page paragraph. And you are going to do the same thing you did before. You will write the document numbers of the documents where you found negative effects, and then jot down a couple notes under explanation, so when you go to type your essay, you will fully analyze each of the documents and how they are producing negative effects. Finally, we will go to conclusion. Make sure you include a transition word such as in conclusion, to sum up, finally, etc. Summarize what you've shown in this essay, and then don't forget to restate the prompt. All right, I hope that helps. Happy writing.